disgusting kind of outside. And then I had to go shut the door because they were redoing the parking lot in the condos or the neighborhood across the way, and there was weird noises coming. Okay, give me one more second. I don't know why I didn't think to stream, but yeah, yesterday I had emailed Brian, this Medicare guy that was supposed to sign up last week. I'm like, hey, where are we at with that? And about an hour later, he didn't answer, but an hour later I got payment from him.
Oh, cool.
So that was $300 of it, and I didn't discount his because Medicare's, or the company he works for, is paying him back, reimbursing him. So I was like, no. And then I met with this an ER doctor who is working with seniors for planning, what their medical wishes are, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And she signed up.
Oh, cool.
And then who else signed up? Somebody else signed up. So I was very excited because rent was due today, which is $750.
Well, there you go.
And my mom graciously had sent a couple $100 for us to come to Florida.
Uh-huh.
But it was early Christmas gift. Which I'm like, I'm coming to help you. Why is this an early Christmas gift? That seems...
Yeah.
But anyway, then when I told her I wasn't coming, I asked her if I could just keep the money for Christmas anyway, and Victoria said I could have hers.
Why'd you decide not to go? Because of the expense?
The expense, I knew I wouldn't be as focused in getting, rent's still due again. Even if I had this month, still due again in October. And I just didn't have enough in savings to make it work out.
Funny how that happened.
Right? It's always comes around again.
I know.
So, anyway, so I just told my mom I would come later this winter, like when it's cold here. She has a new Chromebook and she's having trouble with it, and she's not getting this 2-finger swipe thing. And I'm just like, Mom, seriously? I've sent her videos.
Oh, well.
It's like, I don't know what else to do. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you not... What is your problem? Start all... There. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hip Senior live community. Today we are here with Leslie Davis, and we are talking about having conversations with your best friend, i.e. your inner self, because that should absolutely be your best friend. Leslie, welcome to live community again. It's good to have you back.
Well, Marianne, it is always the highlight of my week when I get to talk to you. I get so excited. But first of all, the thing that I want to comment on first is I am so glad that you got the memo about what color shirt to wear. It is so nice. I mean, we look so coordinated and everything. And
because when I got up this morning, I said, this will make Leslie happy. So
yes, it does. It does. It's one of my favorite colors, one of my most favorite colors in the whole world. But, as always, it doesn't make any difference if we are talking about rain or if we are talking about, people building parking lots. I love talking to you. So I am really excited to be here.
And the reason she brought up the parking lot was literally because I just told her about neighborhood across the way. If you guys hear any weird noises, the neighborhood across the way is redoing their parking lot. Hopefully or their streets. So hopefully hopefully it stays as quiet as it is right now. But you never know with when things are live, right?
That's one of the beauties of things being live. Never can tell what's going to happen. I mean, just like back in the olden days, way, way, way back when TV was only in black and white and they recorded stuff live. You can even go back further than that when radio was live. I mean, oh my gosh. We think
Right?
we have problems? No, we don't have any problems.
Yeah. We were just discussing how technology and people, whatever, we're using a new program called, well, new to me, called Squadcast. And Descript recently purchased it, and it allows us to have some blips in the errors, as far as technology, as far as streaming, and then it will correct it. So we'll see how that goes today.
I
So
guess I guess you're calling me a guinea pig, huh?
I am calling you. Well, one of. I have a meeting after this. That's another one. So yeah, one of. Sorry, Leslie, you're one of
That's
today.
okay. That's okay. As long as I'm not a hamster running around on a wheel, I can handle being a guinea pig.
You're in Texas. It's too hot to expect you to run around on a wheel today.
Oh my gosh. We won't even go there. We are not even going to go there. But you know what? We are going to go back to talking about what color is your shirt. All the way back to what color is your shirt. Now, if you've been with us over the last couple of weeks, and even if you haven't, you know what? Marianne's got the videos. You can go back and revisit the
Absolutely.
videos. The whole thing about what color is your shirt is acknowledging that your feelings are your feelings and that nobody else gets a vote. So the whole story is if I were to walk into the room and I were to say to somebody who is not emotionally healthy, or they are, let's use emotionally dysfunctional, I think is a better word, better term. But let's say they're emotionally dysfunctional, and I were to say to them, "Don't you like my blue shirt?" And they were to look at me and they say, "Blue? That's red." Well, if they were somebody that I knew, liked, and trusted, I would believe that my shirt was red, and I would go about my business until I got to the land of emotionally functional people, and I would ask them, what do you think about my red shirt? And they would say, red, it's blue. And that's the same thing as saying to somebody, today I'm feeling sad, happy, whatever it is that you're feeling. And how many times does somebody come back and say, you shouldn't be feeling that way? That's exactly the same as telling me that my blue shirt is red. Your feelings are your feelings, and nobody else gets a vote. So, what I want to talk about today, and Marianne just loves this topic, is we are going to be talking about uncovering what you're really feeling. And how do we do that? We do that by starting to have conversations with your very best friend in the whole wide world. And if you haven't met that person yet, when we finish talking, I want you to go find a mirror, look in it, and the person that you see in that mirror is your very best friend in the whole wide world. So, Marianne,
Yes, ma'am.
I know that we've been talking for many, many months, and it's about your most favorite subject. Because when we began talking, you only had four emotions: mad, happy, and I don't remember the other two because they were kind of obscure.
Sad and glad.
Yes, sad and glad. Okay, those are the only four emotions that you claim to have. Now we've discovered that you have a whole lot more, haven't we?
Yeah.
So let me just ask you this question. As we started digging in to discover what you were really feeling, what were some of the questions you started asking yourself to help yourself see what you were feeling?
One thing I do not like about these live events is being tested all the time. Tipa Snow did this to me the other day as well, if you want to see. Um, I don't know. Help me out, Leslie.
No, you're the one who has actually been doing the work. You've been uncovering what you're really feeling. Now, I know for me, when I started, the question that I started asking myself was, what's really going on now? And when I would pause and ask myself what's really going on now, and then sit and listen to the response, that was how I was able to uncover that not only was I feeling sad, but I could feel, some level of rejection. Sometimes I could feel some abandonment coming in. I could feel excluded. All these different emotions started coming in because I was giving myself permission to listen. So I'm asking you again, what were some of the questions you started asking yourself as you started uncovering what you were really feeling outside of your alleged four emotions?
And I've mentioned this before. One of the things that I went back and started looking at was what was really the truth for what happened in the past. So, what was the truth now that I've had time to live with that, deal with it, bury it? I buried quite a bit of it. Anytime I ever get hurt or emotionally withdrawn and stuff, I tend to bury my stuff and not really look at it. So, I was able to go
Mm-hmm.
back and say, okay, this is what happened. This is how I felt at the time. And this is looking back, this is really what happened. As an adult, I can look back at teenage years and say, you know what? I've told myself an untruth all these years about what really happened. Told myself, made things worse than they actually probably were at the time. But at the time, they were that bad because I was a teenager and didn't know how to process those emotions. So now I've gone back and I've actually written stuff down and said, okay, this is what happened. This is how I felt at the time. And now that I know how to process these things better, this is how I see it, and this is how I feel about it now. So
And
just being
and
able
how
to
does
put
that
labels,
feel?
just it felt really good. It, like for instance, I had this guy that teased me about my weight all the time on the bus ride home, all the time, and I would cry all the way down my bus let me off at the opposite side of end of the street from my house, and I'd walk all the way down to my house, which was probably, I don't know, 30 houses or so worth of a street. And looking back now, I'm like, why have I carried this along for so many years when this guy doesn't probably even remember ever doing this to me, doesn't remember my name, doesn't could care less. Why am I carrying around the stuff when this guy's not even thinking about me now? And so it made me realize that I was doing myself a disservice by carrying around all this baggage. And once I was able to acknowledge that, I was able to let go of it and be a lot more, wasn't happy that it happened, but I mean, it's in the past, let go.
So let me just ask this question. At the time that it was happening, and probably one of the reasons that it kept coming up, you were probably wanting something from the adults in your life, or you were wanting something from somebody else.
I just wanted this guy to stop. I was so
Okay.
embarrassed by it, I didn't even tell the adults in my life that this was happening.
Okay. So you carried that embarrassment all these years.
Yeah.
Now, recognizing that, first of all, that guy really doesn't even exist in your world anymore.
I have
You
no
had
clue.
been giving him power all those
Hmm.
years. So now you took your power back. And how did that feel to take your power back? To say, you know what, you are so insignificant in my world, I don't even acknowledge you as being on planet Earth anymore. I'm taking my power back. I'm evacuating you from my closets and my attics. How does that feel?
It was powerful.
Yeah.
It was empowering, if nothing else. It made me. I recently, well, not recently, probably in the last 20 years, but realized that one person's opinion of me or anything that I do is less than 1% of the population of the world. And I wasn't going to be overly concerned about what less than 1% of the population said or did or cared about what I'm doing, because less than 1% is really, really small.
Well, and I'm laughing that you say that. Just the other day, uh, one of my friends posted on Facebook, because that's where we go with everything, right? Anyway, they posted on Facebook that they were responding to somebody's criticism of them sharing the things that they are doing in their life and how they are building success, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this person came back at them, uh, chastising him and anyway, running him down. And they responded, they were kind of hurt, but they responded with an explanation. And my response to them, which was very much like what you were just saying, my response to them was, it's like that one star review you get on your book.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's insignificant. Let it go. Let it fall on the floor with a thud and a splat. So I'm really excited, and I love the way that you put it. One person's negative opinion of you represents less than 1% of the population of the entire world.
Right.
How insignificant is that?
And I also, Dawn, when you were just saying that, I was thinking about, well, okay, if you're a new author and you only have 2 reviews, then that's pretty significant, right? That's 50%. Then you just need to go get more reviews and sell more books, right? So if one person's negative review of you in general in life is that significant to you, then maybe you need to be going and finding your people, broadening
But
your
that
circles.
is a very true statement. If you have surrounded yourself on accident by people who are tearing you down rather than building you up, um, first of all, reach out to me. I will help you figure out what the heck is going on that you keep surrounding yourself, that you're acting like a magnet to these negative people. But even more importantly, ask yourself, what are my feelings and how am I speaking to myself? And how do I speak about myself? Because we've talked about it before, and so we'll talk about it again just very briefly. We teach other people how to treat us. So if we are not being treated or spoken to in the manner that we wish to be treated or spoken to, then we need to start looking at not the other people, because we have zero control over the other people, right, Marianne?
Yep.
But we have 100% control over us. So if we start looking at the words that we use about ourselves and to ourselves, then we can start making some shifts there. Because if we have people who are constantly criticizing us, running us down, and all of that, ask yourself, when I'm around that person, how am I speaking about myself? Am I telling them how dumb I am, how clumsy I am, how fill in the blank I am? Well, I'm giving them permission to speak to me that way. So we need to start looking at that. Now, you mentioned, if you have two reviews and one of them happens to be a 1 star, and you're an author or you're somebody even like you have this business,
Right.
and if somebody were to give you a 1 star review, think about this. Whoever it is that's giving you that 1 star review more than likely gave you money in order to even be able to access your product, unless it's a podcast. But more than likely, they gave you money in order to access your product. So here is what my youngest son pointed out to me. The person who gives you that 1 star review, their money spends just as well, if not better, than the person who gives you a 5 star review.
That's true. The other part of that, Leslie, is for me, it's like, okay, if someone complains like you didn't do a good enough job for me or whatever, I would be like, okay, first of all, is there honesty in that comment? Like, did I fail this person? Rarely do I, ever intentionally set out to fail somebody. But did I not give this person enough attention, or did I not answer their emails quick enough, or whatever the case would be as a business owner? And I know a lot of people that follow me are business owners out there. Look at it and say to yourself, is this person speaking the truth? Did I drop the ball
Right.
somewhere? And what can I do? Not only did I drop it, but how can I pick it back up and run with it and make it right in both of our eyes? How can I be like not hurt that this person did this and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm sorry that you feel this way. Let me make it up to you. What how do I fix this? Because I think a lot of times we get, again, embarrassed. Like, oh my gosh, this person thinks poorly of me. I don't understand why. I mean, I've had authors that I've reached out to, that, and I've told you this, that one person was like, no, I don't want to use your service for the Hip Senior books. And I was immediately like, oh, okay. Because at the time, so many authors had been like, yeah, I want to jump in. I want to be on this site. Yes, absolutely. And then suddenly someone was telling me no. And I was like, wait, and I immediately got butthurt over this. I was like, what? And then, but then I wrote her back and I said, well, can we talk a little bit about your why? Why don't you want to be on here? Why, do you not see value in this page? Help me improve so that I can help improve my value proposition for other people, right? And she came back and she said, because I'm done advertising this book. It's 10 years old and I've spent all the money that I'm going to do on this, but and thanks for the $25 coupon, but had you come to me, within a couple of years of me publishing this book, I would have paid full price because this is an awesome site. Small little plug for the Hip Senior books. But that's what she told me. And I was like, oh, okay. But had I not come back and said, why, and normally I don't, Leslie, before it was always like when people said, oh, I don't like you for some reason, they didn't necessarily come out and say, I don't like you, but I would read between the lines and then I'd come back and say,
make
like,
up a story.
Yeah. And then I'd be like, and then I'd go to them and be like, why don't you like me? What did I do wrong? How did I offend you? And that's when I learned the secret of one person less than 1%. And that's when I stopped. Okay, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm strong-willed. I am stubborn. I am all these things.
You're not Walmart.
Yeah, I'm all these things that I embrace within myself. I'm finally, as 53 years old, I'm okay with myself. But I stopped going after people like, how can I make you like me? How can I buy your love? I stopped doing that. I was like, okay, if we don't get along, that's fine. As long as I didn't do something to intentionally hurt somebody, I'm okay with it.
And how empowering is it to recognize that you're only in control of you?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And you're not in control of anybody else.
Yeah. And and then that old adage of like, what they think of me isn't my business. It really isn't. I don't have to know that.
No, you
I just
really
have to be in
don't
control
need
of
to
what
know.
I'm doing. I get that now.
Yeah.
Thanks to
Yeah,
you.
You are only in control of you. You're not in control of anybody else. And
Right.
if somebody has an opinion of you, you know what? It is their opinion. It is their opinion. And that's all it is. And if we look around, we will find people who do believe in us. We simply need to quit focusing on the people who don't believe in us. Start focusing on the people who do believe in us. So, that goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning when we started chatting. We want to uncover what we are really feeling. And when we're struggling, let's say, for example, for me, when I start feeling that hunt symptom start kicking in, and what I mean by that is when I catch myself going into the kitchen multiple times and I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm hunting for something. I've come to recognize within myself that there's something going on, and I simply need to take a breath and ask myself, what is it that's going on right now that you're suddenly hunting in the kitchen when first of all, there's nothing in there that you really want right now, and number two, you're really not even hungry right now, and number three, it's apparent you're running from something. And how often do we run from not wanting to feel? So the number one question that I encourage people to ask is, what is really going on right now? And then stop and listen. The best way to stop and listen is with a pen and paper in your hand and have a written conversation with yourself. Why do I advocate that? Well, I don't know about you, but I can have all these hamsters on wheels inside my head. And if I start letting them run inside my head, they will invite a whole bunch of friends, and then it'll just be so noisy because none of those hamster wheels are greased. And I really will not come to a discovery or a conclusion or be able to move past it. But I've discovered if I use pen and paper, I can have a written conversation. I can leave it alone. I can solve my problem, or not so much solve it, but I can get gain a greater understanding of what's going on, why it's going on, where it's coming from. As you were saying about this guy, you've harbored him all these years. I can find that, and then I don't have the hamsters on the wheels in my head. But uncovering what we're really feeling is so important. And this is where your very best friend in the whole wide world comes in. I don't know about you, but I have people in my life who get tired of hearing me talk about the same thing over and over and over again. And I don't know about you, but not everybody in my life is up at 3 o'clock in the morning wanting to chat about, deeply crazy, thought filled, feeling kind of stuff. But you know what? My very best friend in the whole wide world never, ever, ever gets tired of listening to me talk about the same thing for the 9 millionth time. My very best friend in the whole wide world will even have a conversation with me at 3 o'clock in the morning and not complain. It's really great. And they don't demand their own cup of coffee, which is even better. So, so what I'm saying is, in order for us to recognize that our blue shirt is blue, even if we have people telling us that our shirt is red, we want to stand in our truth, as you said so well earlier. We want to stand in our truth. And the best way to stand in our truth is to understand what our truth is. What are you really feeling right now? And don't be afraid to dig deep. Don't be afraid to ask yourself the other questions. Where is this coming from? Because oftentimes what we are feeling right now is coming from something in the past. And if we can understand what's happened in the past that's causing us to feel it right now in this moment, then we can really start doing some healing and be able to confront or be around those people who keep insisting that our blue shirt is red. And we can simply smile and let them go on about their day, knowing that they're totally disillusioned. And that's okay, because we know what the truth is.
It's amazing how many times in the past that what I thought was the truth turned out to be completely something different, because I didn't stop and talk to myself. I didn't ask questions. I didn't ask for clarification. I just got, like you said, there's times when people have told me no, and instead of asking them, why, and not necessarily, why do you not like me, but why is this not a good time for you to be part of the HIP Senior, or to whatever the case may be? Because often it's not you personally, right? It's
right.
It's not always a no. It's a no, not right now, but we don't stop and look at that. When all we hear is no, and our brain shuts off right there. And for me, it was being brave enough to push past.
Well, we start
no.
taking it personally. We start taking it very personally.
Yeah. So.
And often it is not personal. But what I keep circling back around to, and what I even remind myself almost daily, is who am I in control of? And who am I not in control of?
Right. Only yourself.
That's exactly right. And when I really grasped that concept, it was so liberating. It was truly liberating. Because then I could stand on my truth, and whatever the other person's reaction was or is or could be was all on them. It was not on me.
I love that so much. All right, Leslie, what else you got for us?
Well, I just want to say, I want to wrap up with one of my favorite things, because you said it a couple of times. Oftentimes, we are talking about what somebody said or did, and we will say, "You made me sad, you made me mad, you made me feel, you made me whatever." Did somebody, in fact, make you whatever it is that you said? Or was it a choice?
For me, it was a choice
Okay.
because nobody can make you
For
be
most
anything.
people, yeah, from 99.999% of the people, it's a choice. And what I want to say is when we recognize, first of all, we're not in control of anybody else, we're only in control of us. And then we turn around and say, "You made me mad," what we've just done is given away our power. And we're saying that they are in control of us and we are not in control of us. So we come back to we're only in control of us, they're in control of them. Something happens, someone says something. We have a choice. We can be mad, we can be happy, we can be whatever the heck it is that we choose to be, or we can simply let it fall on the floor with the thud and the splat and everything splashes back on their shoes. But understand, claim you have a choice. And I want to leave everyone with this one thought: no one can make you anything except reservations for dinner. I prefer at a five-star restaurant, and you pick up the tab.
Leslie Davis, author of You Can't Eat Love. You can see her book there behind her. I'm not sure what that zombie book is. Is that one of your books?
Yeah, Zombie Siege. Yeah.
I did not know that. All
Yes,
right.
Zombie Siege.
Well, Leslie, thank you so much for being with us today. Everybody, thank you for watching this. If you have any questions about how Leslie works, about what she does, feel free to reach out to her. Her email address is leslie@youcan'teatlove.com, where you can find more information about her book, about her services, about her speaking engagement availability. All that stuff is at youcan'teatlove.com, right, Leslie?
That is right. And Marianne, you are an amazing person. And I'm just going to give a plug for your site, The Hip Senior, because you've got an amazing catalog and library of books that people can check out. Not to mention all the services that you've got posted on that site.
Absolutely. If people go to thehipsenior.com, not only will you find the book site, you just click on books. You'll find the link for here that you probably came from for Live Community. We have a magazine where all kinds of articles about everything. It's people that knew me in the past knew that I taught technology for 20 years, and they are like, "Oh, I don't need technology help." Very rarely will you find tech stuff on my site because it's about everything else regarding seniors, their caregivers, their loved ones. So check it out. We have a business directory that we're currently growing as well. So if you have a business that serves seniors with a heart of gold, reach out to me as well. I'd love to see you in our directory as well. So until next time, Leslie, we'll see you soon. And everybody else, I will see you at Live Community and on the Hip Senior. Talk to you soon. Okay.
Cool.
Can we discuss the next time, like, when people say like, "Oh, just be happy," or
Mm.
or you
Uh.
wait, or you saying like you gave away your power. I don't think those things are kind of like the things to say, but nobody really understands what that really means. Like, how? Like people used to say to me all the time, like, "Oh, just be happy," or just think positive thoughts, and it's just like,
It's a cop out.
how do I even begin? But it's like, okay, 20 people told me this today. How do I even begin to go down that road to think these thoughts? Like, I mean, actual tangible physical ways of doing this, because so many people have all these, binge words of all this stuff, and people are like, okay, but how do I do that? How do
All the, they. One thing I detest, absolutely detest, and yes, we can talk about it next time. So let me find a piece of paper and make myself a note here. I have this paper sitting in front of me and it's blended into my computer. Um,
Bye.
one thing I detest
I discovered we were
are
still live streaming.